Welcome.
It's the cicadas.
Yes. It is Tuesday night. We're here for our regular weekly meeting of Golden Speakers Toastmasters. We meet every Tuesday night from 7:45 to 9 o'clock in the second floor conference room of the Fairfield Business Park. Come on down and visit us. I'm going to first suggest that we look at our devices and see if they can be put on silent. Then I'm going to read the mission of a Toastmasters Club before I introduce tonight's Toastmaster. The mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. That's my role for now. I'm going to turn it over to our Toastmaster for the evening, Veda Royale.
So I have a quick one of these for myself. Quick question for the president before I forget. Who was the table topics winner for last week? Does anyone remember?
Aaron. Yeah, Aaron. Yeah.
Okay, so
It may be recorded in Easy Speak already.
it is.
And the other, like, the two
He wants you.
was
Good, but you're asking, right?
We only need the winner of the table topics because, to remind you, at the end of the quarter, we'll be giving
I was the winner 2 weeks ago.
Wait,
that. I've been recording the winners every week, and I wasn't here last week because at the end of the quarter or something like that, we're going to give a valuable Toastmasters prize.
Yes, at the end of the quarter. That's what we
Okay.
decided.
Okay, so this evening, the theme is creating a wonderful world. And the quote by Helen Keller is, it is wonderful how much time good people spend fighting the devil. If they would only expend the same amount of energy loving their fellow men, the devil would die in his own tracks of ennui.
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 Meaning boredom.
Thank you.
Is that the word of the evening?
Is it French?
No, it's not.
It sounds French.
So let's call up the grammarian she will be getting the word of the day. And in the meantime, let's start with the counter, which is Lacey. Could you explain your role, please, Lacey?
Yes, I count the ahs and ums and repeats and others.
Great, and I'll be looking forward to your report.
Thank you.
The general evaluator will be Dan Craig. The greeter and joke master will be Kanan. And the timer and grammarian is going to be Jean. And we are waiting for her word on bated breath.
Okay.
The word,
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. First, I'll do my grammarian role. The word of the day is disparage. And it means to regard or represent as being of little worth. Using it in a sentence, the boss disparaged his employee when the employee made a mistake. So the employee didn't feel very good with that. So it's just a put down, it's putting down.
Agree.
And again, Jean Symington will be our timer.
Yes. I am looking for my paperwork. Gosh, I'm sort of just getting scattered here. Here it is. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. As the timer for the evening, I will be timing several different aspects of the meeting. We have one prepared speech this evening. It is 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I'll turn on the green. And what I can do is I could do like a 1 or 2 or 3, okay? It will be the bottom one, will be on. At 6 minutes, I'll turn on the yellow, and at 7 minutes, I'll turn on the red, and that stays on for an additional 30 seconds for wrapping up. We also will have a taste of Toastmaster magazine, is that correct? Actually gave you a little extra, gave you 1 more minute. So that is going to be just a special little in-service here for our group, educational. At 3 minutes, I'll turn on the green. At 4 minutes, I'll turn on the yellow. No, sorry. At 3 minutes, I'll turn on the green. At 3.5 minutes, I'll turn on the yellow. And at 4 minutes, I'll turn on the red. Audie's going to be working to come in under that time, in that time. I'll also be timing table topics. Table topics are 1 to 2 minute impromptu speeches. I will turn on the green light at 1 minute, the yellow light at 1 minute 30 seconds, and the red light at 2 minutes. And then again, you have 30 seconds to wrap up. Or you get the hook. Nobody quivered or anything.
I smiled, I was like,
That's
I just don't have a lot of energy to jump.
Maybe we need some hooks, excitement of hook to put energy in. And then finally, evaluators. We will have 2 evaluators, a speech evaluator, and both of these evaluators will have a 2 to 3 minute window to evaluate. So at 2 minutes, I will turn on the green. At 2.5, I'll put on the yellow. And at 3 minutes, I'll put on the red. And you have 30 seconds to wrap up. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Jean. So getting right down to business, our speaker tonight will be Kanan Rice. Am I saying it correctly? Kanan. And the objectives are going to be read by Adi.
Good evening, Toastmasters. Viewers at home. Good evening, Karen. Your speech objectives are: the purpose of this project is for the member to present the speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate that he or she has applied the feedback received from his or her first speech. Good luck.
All right, and to remind everyone, the second speech and third speech are basically for the purpose of further improvement. So we should pay close attention to every aspect of Kanan's speech tonight, so that when he does his third speech, which would be either the same or a similar speech, we can give him positive feedback on his improvement. So it actually makes tonight's job easier for Kanan, less pressure, because we need room for improvement. There's plenty. Okay, so tonight I'm going to introduce Kanan. Kanan has lived in Fairfield on and off since 1983. He works as a SQF, which is a safe quality food, that's the title of the company, Safe Quality Food, SQF, which is located in Washington, D.C. He's a quality management auditor. He does all types of quality management auditing, and tonight he'll talk a little bit about his role. And he has some hobbies also, which include reading and playing sports. So tonight's speech title is Globalization and Social Media for a Good Cause. Please help me welcome Kanan Rice. Thank you, Kanan. Take 2 minutes to evaluate Kanan. Have Adi Hazim giving the Taste of Toastmasters magazine presentation. Please welcome Adi.
Thank you. Good evening again. Good evening to Toastmaster of the Day and viewers at home. This is a new portion in Toastmasters, in our Toastmasters meeting. It's all about having a taste from the Toastmaster magazine, because every member we shall receive a monthly magazine from Toastmasters, and we're going basically to select a topic from it. And this is Toastmasters October 2019. So what I chose for tonight is what to look for in a good speech. So we're here to do speeches, and you also have business presentations, political speeches. So what do you look for to say that it is a good speech? So this is the article for Bill Brown, is a speech delivery coach from Las Vegas and a member of Pro Toastmasters and a head of the Curve Toastmasters. He concluded his essay or article with 3 points, but before he used to sit with his wife watching movies, and then after movies they have the point after, like they criticize or they evaluate the movies. And from this they conclude that the movie is like a presentation or a speech. So from this experience he's going to give us like 3 points. First, your speech shall have a clear message or theme. Is there a singular, unified point or challenge? So the first thing you ask yourself, you have to have one clear message or theme to apply the singularity. And the rest of the speech will be part of the partially connected details. The second point is the ability to hold the attention. How can you grab the attention of the audience? It's all about having, other than having central singular message, you have well-supported ideas. So you do a lot of research, but you have to have supported ideas. And about the singularity, he said, like it's like a phone book. It's also a collection of details. So if you start reading the phone book, then it will be like, why are you telling me this? Because they are details, but they're not connected. So we have 2. First one is to have singularity. The second is to have supported details. The third one is the way you deliver your speech. So push yourself to fully express the thoughts and emotions of the speech. To wrap up, it's all about having a clear message, organized flow, and a good delivery. By this, you will have a good speech. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adi, and thank you, Jean, for submitting that great idea, how we could get more educational sessions. I've really enjoyed those educational sessions, even when they're on videotape. And here's a chance for us to get those educational ideas. And that's also been the project of Dan, our president. Now, we could go to Adi for the evaluation, or we could do the table topics, which would be. Okay, so I'm gonna call back Adi for the evaluation at this time.
Good evening again. Good evening, Toastmasters. Good evening, Canon. Thank you for your speech today. It's your second speech, and I see that you're getting familiar more and more with the stage. You have a very clear voice and strong voice, and this gives like a message for your speech. For the title Globalization and Social Media for a Good Cause, you have a clear and singular message, and it was tied to the social media and the globalization with the sugarcane and the stories. And you also have details, like you research your details. It's like a story. You have an introduction, body, and conclusion, all the structure to have a great speech. However, I have a couple of points because we're here. There are, like, in my opinion, I think we all say, like, it's all about the 15 seconds when you start, and it's all about the 15 seconds when you wrap it up, the conclusion. So I did not feel a strong opening, because having a strong opening will catch our attention more. It's all about hit the first 15 seconds. And in the last educational session, there's an article talked about how to have how to memorize the first 15 seconds and the last 15 seconds, because they are the most important thing. Moreover, I would like to see like a smile. You were very serious here. So if you have a smile, and if you have, it will give you, and it will to give us more eye contact, and you can play with your voice more. Additionally, I would like to see more poses, because the power of poses, when you have like well-calculated poses, it will give poses. Pose.
Yeah.
Like,
Working because you're just standing.
no,
straight.
pose like you pause, sorry.
Pause.
Pause.
Okay, good, okay.
Sorry. Pause.
Pause.
Yeah. When you have like a pause, well-calculated pause, then you will let us think about your speech, and also it will grab our attention. Other than that, everything is really good. However, as I said, you have a clear message. The details work well connected. However, we need to work more on the delivery.
Adi is doing an outstanding job. It is always interesting to see the effect of written English versus spoken English. I'm sure when you look at written English, you will not think that that word was pause, like animal pause,
Okay.
but it would look like pose. It would look like that. English is a very strange and difficult language, and extremely inconsistent. So the next order of business is the table topics. So let's get the table topics going, and then after that, we'll do the evaluation portion of the speech.
That was gonna be me.
Well, I have a few, I have to apologize. A bot attacked my computer today, wiped all my files out. I've been dealing with that all day long.
Okay, so we'll
So I have a few-
pause for a moment to get this together,
Right.
and
It's
we'll
not fun. Yeah.
pause tonight. Okay.
volunteers,
Mhm.
1 through 4.
It's a Wonderful Life, people.
It's a Wonderful
See,
Life.
good one.
Jimmy Stewart and
I don't know.
Donna Reed.
Do what?
I don't know anything about it. Don't know what to say.
Wonderful Life, this, this is,
Speaking off the cuff, I could do one if we were.
I'll do one.
no.
No, you don't get one unless we're really desperate.
Me? I don't know anything about Wonderful Life.
You don't have to know the movie, it's
Oh,
not
okay.
about the movie at all.
I
No, it's not about the movie. I'm
No,
just,
it's not
My
about the
brain's
movie.
working slower today.
No. See at the top, it has a theme.
Oh,
I'll do it.
Wonderful World. Got you. Okay, I got it.
So you could do
Good,
that.
good.
I should sit?
Oh, you want to do the first one?
I could do the first one?
Pick a number between 1 and 4.
1.
If you could pick one action to recommend that everyone could do to start a great and wonderful world, what would it be? Is that what you said? Right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home. This question of what we can do to create a wonderful world, what each person can do, what one thing we can do, is almost trite, in my opinion. It's something that we hear, like we go to Disneyland and we go through Disneyland and there's these songs that incessantly sing, "It's a wonderful world," and all this. We hear it over and over again. You would think we would be living in a wonderful world by now, but there's certain problems. And I really think the problems are self-inflicted. To have a wonderful world, you have your own world as wonderful. Before you fix the entire town, you should fix your family. You should fix your own world. And that means for me, that means personal development. It means that I study health, I study spirituality, and I apply those things. I apply being a better person every day. If I'm having problems in relationships, I study relationships. I work on relationships. I try to figure out how I could be a kinder, gentler person, in the words of George Bush. But George Bush really had it right, because he said that if you had a lot of wonderful people, it was like 1,000 points of light. And those 1,000 points of light would spread across the globe and light up everything for everyone else. So I could congratulate him on that, as well as him having the same birthday as myself.
As Ringo. Really.
So thank you for your time. Thank you.
The same day. That's interesting. Okay, we have 2, 3, and 4.
I guess I'll do one.
Yeah.
Which-
Lazy.
3.
No, you got it going, I'm going.
Yeah, come on.
Sorry.
This is from the Beatles. Sometimes we need a little help from our friends. Who would you pick on, alive or not living, to contribute to building a wonderful world, and why?
Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. Do I have a moment to think about it?
You have up to 30 seconds.
Okay. Alive or not living? was the question again?
Sometimes we need a little help from our friends. Who would you pick on, alive or dead, contribute?
To contribute to making
That
a
wonderful
wonderful
world.
world.
Yeah. And why?
Okay, thank you, fellow Toastmasters. I think I would pick, actually John Lennon would be a good person to pick.
Hmm.
He shared so much inspiration with us all through words and through music. I truly think that he was an inspiration to the upcoming youth and generations, also to artists alike. And some of the words that were written, I get by with a little help of my friends. Well, we can choose to focus on that specific part of the lyrics. I believe the message behind it is that when we need someone, whether it is emotional, mental, or spiritual support, we should turn to our friends for guidance. If we are lacking in any religious beliefs, that is okay. We can turn to our close friend. John Lennon wrote several inspirational songs. That just being the first one that I could think of. Imagine and Love. All we need is love. I don't know about any of you, but love never hurt anyone. So I would conclude with saying that John Lennon would be the person that I would choose. So, thank you.
It's very nice. Especially the Beatles. Because we're from the Beatles generation, so that's it. Okay, all right, we have two left, number 2 and number.
We have time for one more.
One more, yeah.
So do we have another volunteer?
Go ahead.
I've already got that one.
I'll do it. What is it?
I'm doing everything.
What is it for?
I love evaluating, but I just only have 2 hands.
Okay, one mind, number 4.
Okay.
Do you think gratitude is helpful for creating a wonderful world? Why or why not?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home. Of course, gratitude is a wonderful thing to give to everyone. Gratitude is not only something that you have to practice, but you have to give it to you, to yourself, to the other people. And at the same time, when you practice, the family or whoever is around yourself can be feeling the emotion that love is coming from you. Because it's recognizing that you are doing something good for everyone or for the peace in your soul. But at the same time, it's something that you have to remind the other person that it's something that you recognize that is good to you, to your soul, and the peace around the world. Thank you. Because he went too far.
It's like a kid that's falling behind that weight.
So that is the last one.
So you turn the top, you turn it back to me.
Yes, and then,
How we vote?
Peter?
Thank you. Yes, I guess that we should be voting now, table topics.
However,
We need to know if everyone qualified or who qualified. Please give the names of who's qualified.
Veda, Lacey, and Carmen qualified.
Now, we are going to either have Dan Craig run this portion of the meeting, or I will call up the evaluators. Should we?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to take over just calling up the evaluators. We've had an evaluation already for the speech. So I'd like to welcome Carmen and myself to evaluate the topics.
We were having two table topics today, and the first one was from Veda. You always give a good introduction, Veda. That's really nice. The details were good. It's good that you were mentioned Bush's birthday is the same as you, but I'm not a fan of Bush. So, I'm sorry.
Trying to put something positive out there.
I wanted to put in the
The two
positive.
positive
I
things.
wanted to put in the positive, and then I'm doing the sandwich, so this is the negative. At the beginning, it was a little bit vague. I didn't know if you went actually into that question by itself, because you were kind of rounding. But it was okay, then the details. It was a pretty good speech. And lazy. Lazy. It was a good message. It was a good conclusion. I think at the beginning, when you say thank you, Mr. Thank you. I don't know if you can say thank you at the very beginning, actually.
And she says, thank you, Mr. Table Topics.
At the very beginning, very
Yes.
beginning,
Yeah, and that's okay.
and then at the end. too.
We shouldn't say, oh, thank you.
We should say thank you, Mr. Topic Master. We can say that at the beginning or the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay,
at the
okay, I
end-
didn't know that.
At the end.
At
Anyway,
the end, should.
go ahead.
Okay. I
That's
just want to
important.
make sure of that because I didn't.
Understood.
Yeah.
It was good details, good pick, the topic, the message. You even remember the songs, the word of the song, how did they pronounce it? It was a really good speech. That's my evaluation.
Okay, my evaluation, if I could have 1 minute or less for Carmen. I thought Carmen did a great job. Incredible. It was interesting to watch her. In the very beginning, you had the hands behind your back, but you quickly, that's something I used to do. It's a good habit to keep them out front. But then you started to use the gestures and you started to move and not get stuck to the podium like we tend to with the podium here. And you also had good content. The only thing was, because of the confusion, I really missed out what the question was, so I was having a little bit of difficulty evaluating the actual content. But it was upbeat, it was pleasant, and the only suggestion, of course, is at the end, you should thank the topic master, clearly, not thank you to the audience. And you should make sure that you wait until the topic master comes back. In fact, if you said, thank you, Mr. Topic Master, it would cue the topic master to come back to the stage, even if he wasn't really paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my main thing. Otherwise, a great job, Carmen. Now I will stay up as the Toastmaster to introduce the general evaluator, who will be Mr. Dan Craig. Please warmly welcome Dan Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. We're at the point of the meeting where we have our reports. And I'm going to ask first for the timers report from Jean.
Thank you, Mr. Evaluator. Our main speaker, Kanan, was 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Our table topics were Veda was 2 minutes, 20 seconds, Lacey was 2 minutes, Carmen was 1 minute and 2 seconds. Our speech evaluators, Adi was 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and Carmen was 1 minute, 59 seconds.
Thank you. It was over so quick I wasn't ready. Back to Jean for her grammarian's report.
Yes. I'm going to try not to disparage my friends. Oh, Dee, will you give me back give me back the questions. Is that it? Where do I have it? No, never mind. Here, give it to me. All right, switching grammarian hat here. Nobody used the word of the day except for me just there, which I'm gonna just have to say, guys, I don't wanna have to disparage you, because I know you have worth, but you would have more worth if you used the word of the day, which is disparage. So I will leave you with the request that when you go out for the next week, look and see if you see the word of the day that we used tonight and watch it pop for you, because I actually saw copacetic this week as a result of our word from last week, and I had a thrill, because which I wouldn't have had if we hadn't had it as a word of the day. So, and the one word usage that I really liked that I heard was Veda saying trite. I like that word. It's a good, it's a good quarter word versus a nickel word.
It's strong.
And that's my report.
Our odd counter tonight was Lacey. Could you give us your report, please?
Yes. First, a quick apology because I did not see the proper introduction here at the beginning of the page. So when you introduced me the first time, I didn't give a proper introduction. I apologize. I'll make note of that for next time.
All good.
So here we go. Dan, I have nothing for you. Veda had one but, and I did have a question for the but. Sometimes I feel like we're using the word but as a way to say however or also. So I'm not sure if I should count that as being,
No, that's not a filler word,
okay.
but.
So,
And
Veda, the but that I counted you for is no longer valid. I don't want to just disparage your or tarnish your record. Also, we have Jean with no, nothing for her. Myself, unfortunately, I should have passed it on to someone too. I did get 2 ums. I thought that I had 2 ums for myself when I was up there, and maybe 1, so I do tend to say quite often. Audie,
There you go. Yeah, see.
there was
You start to hear it.
4
That's the good stuff.
so's and several likes. I think like is you like your my So or so. Canon. Canaan. How do you say it? Canaan. 5 ahs, 1 3 so's, 1 like. I'm not sure that the buts are valid anymore. You say. I was unsure of that usage of that word. I did hear one definite repeat. I think that was maybe out of nervousness or just I don't know what that was, but D. I didn't register anything for you.
Okay.
Carmen, 1 ah, 2 ums.
okay, did Kanan bring a joke for us?
Dude.
Hey, let's bring Kanan up for the joke.
What did one wall say to the other wall?
Meet you at the corner.
What did the Buddhists ask the hot dog vendor?
Make me one with everything.
You got it.
What? Did you have that one before?
I've heard that one before, yeah. He's gonna have
Good,
to
get another
step
one.
his
Let's
game
try it.
up here.
But that's weird that you knew that because there's more to it.
Say it.
Okay. The Buddhist gives him a 50 and the vendor pockets it. The
Oh,
Buddhist
yeah.
asks for change, and the hot dog vendor replies, change comes from within.
Yeah.
So there's two
yeah.
parts of it.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
Okay. But it's time for me to evaluate the evaluators. The first thing I'm going to do is make a suggestion for our logistics around the lectern here. We want to always hand it off. So if you are the one speaking, you wait for the next person, or you introduce the next person, shake their hand, and you go. And it's easier if you retreat away from the direction that they're coming.
Mm.
It's just a little awkward to cross.
Mhm.
If you've got a role where you have to introduce a number of people, it'd be better if you hang out close rather than getting too far away, just so it works out more smoothly. Now I'm going to evaluate the evaluators. Our first evaluator tonight was Adi, who is evaluating Canaan speech. He had a number of praises, noted a number of good points for the speech. In particular, he praised right at the beginning the structure of the speech, the voice and the delivery. He had some good suggestions. One was to smile more often. It made me think at the time I was watching your evaluation that you were a little too serious as you gave your evaluation. There is a tendency, particularly when we give someone advice, to feel a little hesitant about it, and that's natural enough. But a smile might be good at the same time to lighten it up. I thought that I couldn't tell for sure, but I thought that you weren't referring much to the evaluation guide. Whether you were and it was so smooth that I didn't notice. If not, then it's good to look at the evaluation guide and pull that into the structure of your responses. But an excellent job. Then for table topics, our first evaluator was Carmen. She did a good job in terms of giving praise and giving feedback. The thing that she could improve, in my opinion, was a tendency at some points to trail off the volume of the sentences as you spoke. For example, you began with a good, strong voice talking about the nice introduction that, who was your first speaker, Veda gave. And then when you got to the point about disagreeing with him about using George Bush as an example, you had a couple of sentences where you kind of lost the volume of your voice. And from the back, I couldn't much tell. I could tell you were not happy with George Bush, but I couldn't tell any of the rest of it.
Well, that was intended.
Maybe it was. At the end, you said, pretty good speech. Somehow I thought that could have been improved. Sometimes when you say pretty good speech, you're not really pumping up the speaker. It's kind of like saying, well, that wasn't awful. The second person you evaluated was Lacey. You had some good praise for her, a good beginning, good details, good topic, good message. I didn't really have a suggestion for the portion where you were evaluating Lacey. We kind of got a digression on thanking the topics master that went for a while. I'm going to shift to Veda in my remaining 3 seconds. Lectern. It's not a podium. And it's important to know the question of the person you're evaluating, so you know how to evaluate. Thank you.
Good.
I'm going to ask Veda to come back up as Toastmaster. Oh, there's the ribbons, the all-important ribbons. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Dan. I won't get too carried away with evaluating the evaluator of evaluators. Great job, Dan. Now, this evening, I'm not sure that we ever voted for best evaluator. So I think we were remiss in, did we vote for best?
Table topics we did.
We did vote. We have the best table topics. Automatically, for speech number 2, Kanan. The best and the bravest, coming forward. Next, I don't believe that we had a vote for the best evaluator. So we're going to forgo that for this evening. And I'm going to move on to the big, bestest table topics of tonight. 1 out of 3 chances to roll. And it's Lacey.
Woo!
Thank you.
Pause for the camera.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Great job,
Thank
Lacey.
you.
And it's always heartwarming to see a new member do so well. So I really felt great about that. Table topics. So to conclude, I will welcome up El Presidente, the president of the Toastmasters Club, Mr. Danny Craig.
Thank you, Veda. It was interesting you asked Lacey to pause for the camera. And I thought, are they pausing or are they posting?
I will never forget it again. I learned it the hard way.
The first thing I'm going to do in my portion of the wrap up is to show you some ribbons that we got from Toastmasters International. I'll tell you why this is so
Wow.
wrinkled.
That's really neat.
We got a select distinguished club ribbon for the last, which means we earned at least 7 of the 10 goals in the distinguished club program. We try to get those goals because automatically when you strive for their goals, then your club is better for all the members. The reason it's so wrinkled was I opened up the envelope and I flipped it open to read what it was, and I hadn't taken the ribbon out. As I was reading, I was crumpling up the envelope with my left hand. So congratulations, it closes your ribbon. So I'm gonna see if I can iron it or something.
They do iron on low setting.
Low
It's not
setting.
metal.
You just
Okay.
gotta-
Do not melt it.
We may have to get a bigger banner, but that's what those ribbons are. You can
That's
earn up
great.
to 10.
How about a hot towel? If you put like a hot damp towel,
Okay,
like if you just put a damp towel, go ahead and put the iron over the damp towel.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't put the iron on
No,
it.
yeah, just over the damp towel so that
Unless you want to extract
steam
the
it. It would
gold.
be like steaming it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Dan,
very
you might want to
gentle.
extract the gold though. If you put the hot iron on it.
You can just turn it over like
On
this.
the other
and I
side,
don't think
yeah.
we've tended to put these on our banner. Maybe we
layer
have.
them on.
What?
This was just a point, between
Yeah.
May and June, we got 5 members. So they awarded a ribbon for that. We are an award-winning club. What else? Do we have any business that anybody needs to bring up before the club at this time? Jean?
I'd like to mention the huddle that's going to be happening in Des Moines. It's a special district-wide event. It's all day. It's on Saturday, the 9th. If you can, it's a way to mingle with all kinds of Toastmasters. There's going to be panels and presentations. I've been asked to do a 90-minute panel.
Oh, cool.
And so that's my stretching my envelope. And there'll be a, I don't know, lunch and fame thing that happens at lunch. And they'll be honoring all the people that had awards through the last year, that was July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2019. So just all of the accomplishments like that. And so Dan and I are going to be going, right, Dan? You're going?
Yep.
Okay. And so Adi wants to go. And so I just want to start, it's going to be 2 weeks from this coming Saturday. If you go to, so jot this down, district19.me, that's where the district, we're in
Emerson
District
Michael.
19.
Emerson, Michael, E is in Edward. M is in.
Yeah, Emerson, Michael, E.S. and Edward. That is the District 19 webpage. And I believe the huddle, there's a link in there for the huddle. I found it and I kept up. So just go take a look at it. It's kind of fun. You can see the sessions. They've got it all organized as we march through the day. Probably would need to leave here no later than 7:30 in the morning.
What was it again? I'm sorry.
It's called the huddle.
Yeah, but what's this for?
It's the twice a year, the district, all the clubs and members from around the state of Iowa, a little bit of Nebraska, a little bit of Illinois, come together. This is replacing what used to be a fall conference, which went on for several days. They do it all in one day, and it's just it's just a bigger experience than just the little local clubs. Aaron is very big on, he went to that meeting in the spring and just said it really opened his eyes, and he got very inspired, and you really see who's moving the district, and you just get a big sense of it. There is a cost associated with it. $10 if you just are going. If you add the luncheon, I believe it's another $15, so it's $25. I think that's what you and I pay, Dan, because we'll be wanting to be there at luncheon. But anyway, take a look at that and see if you want to be in the carpool, because that's what we'll be doing. Yeah. So.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
I believe this is the first year that the district has had what they call a huddle. In the past, they tried to have multi-day district meetings twice a year.
They did the huddle the first time last year.
Oh, they did?
They did do it that was the first change. So
Okay.
yeah, this is the second.
They used to have the whole array of contests, club, area, division, district, twice a year.
Mhm.
They decided that was kind of overkill.
Mhm.
The one that Aaron went to was the traditional set of contests plus the district meeting. This is the 6 months later, and it's just going to be the district meeting without the
Yeah, I think it'll be
contests.
fun. It's going to be fun.
Okay. I think the last thing I'll mention about the Distinguished Club Program is that last year we earned 7 of our goals. This year it looks like we have a quite reasonable chance to hit at least 8, which would be again select distinguished. We have a possibility of 9, which would be president's distinguished, which Golden Speakers has done many times before. Just the lore of this little lectern here is that all these plates on here with the little dots are, over the years, Golden Speakers has been the first club in the district to earn all 10 of its goals, which means it was president's distinguished before anybody else in the entire
When was the
state.
last time that was done?
The last time we did it was 4 years ago? Or?
3 years.
Does it say there?
2015 through 16.
Oh, just a few.
No, but they're behind on their, we are owed a, little
A
plaque
little plaque.
thing.
We did have a year where we got our 10 goals, but we didn't end up with enough members at
Oh.
the end
Right,
to
'cause you-
qualify.
How many members do you have to have to qualify? Is it
20.
Oh,
Well,
So when we hit June 30th, we'll have to have at least 20 members
Hmm.
to
to get
qualify.
anything.
does that mean people don't show up? They're still members?
If they've paid dues. they're
No,
members.
yeah, yeah.
If they pay dues,
Have to pay dues.
we just gotta go out and get people to pay money.
That's it.
That's it.
There you go.
That's all we gotta do.
No bothering with this.
So you don't have to come to the meeting.
Club.
You don't have to come to the meeting, just pay some dues.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, on that
That's not hard to do.
hopeful
actually.
note, Jean.
Can I just mention, now Adi, you're doing your starting project 2 next time, which is gonna, is that where you are? Project 2?
Yeah.
You get your first, you do your first one
No,
and
no,
then,
no. Yeah, I did my first one.
okay, so this is where you apply, you're doing the second speech in the second project?
Okay. Yeah, I have to do the second speech.
The second speech where you apply the, is that correct? I'm asking.
I think yes, yeah.
Okay, well, you were down for doing that next week.
I hope so.
No,
Okay,
feet to the fire,
okay.
feet to the fire, you're our.
Ladies and gentlemen, our VP of Education.
I'm here to help you meet your goals.
Okay.
I like the pizza.
You know, just,
And please see Jean after the meeting if you want to schedule a speech.
Yeah.
And
So
please
don't be the
stay
same
if
speech,
you
right?
have time
Same
to
speech.
help us
Same speech?
put everything away.
Mhm.
That's it. Good meeting.
New and improved.
Okay.